I'm back, guys. Back with another one. I'm back at it, man. Cousin Corey is back, and talk. We on. I'm on here to talk about episode 2, Better Call Saul, the last season. The title of this episode is Carrot and Stick. Carrot and Stick. And do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit that like button. And I got another channel, Air Joystick. The link is in the description. So subscribe to my other channel if you're not subscribed already. And tell a friend. Air Joystick. Best gaming channel around. I appreciate it. So the first thing we see starting out with this episode 2 is this nasty kitchen. Look at that kitchen. Boy, I tell you, it's a sight to see. I ain't gonna lie, man. I get a little choked up looking at that nasty kitchen. My friend Carl, one of the few friends I had in this world, Carl, he would have loved that kitchen. And I say would in the past tense, old Carl. Carl not with us anymore. I lost him a couple of days ago. Well, it was a few nights ago, and I woke up in the middle of the night a little thirsty, and I come to the kitchen to get me open the refrigerator door and pour me a cup of cold water. And as soon as I walk in front of that refrigerator, I hear a crunch up under my bare feet, a crunch. And that was my pet, my friend, my confidant, the one friend that I had to talk to, Carl. Some of you probably wondering, if you hear a crunch under your feet in the middle of the night, some of you people probably would think that'll be a pest. And to some of you people, you're right. It'll be a pest. It'll be a rodent. It'll be something that you don't like. But Carl was more than a cockroach, a pet cockroach to me. Carl was my friend. He was one friend I had to talk to. And just seeing that nasty kitchen, it made me think about how much Carl would have loved that nasty kitchen at Nacho House. He would have loved that nasty kitchen. You probably can't tell if I'm laughing or crying. But you know what? You gotta laugh to make the pain go away. But while I'm on this subject, I mean, that's why, I don't have Carl no more. But you know what? My friends, my subscribers, my pals, my people that like watching Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, that's why you need to comment on my video, man. Because I don't have my friend Carl no more. And you guys got to be my friends. You guys got to be my comrades, my my internet friends. That's why we got this great thing about this internet. You guys can help me out. I don't have Carl no more, but I got you guys. So comment, like, subscribe, and tell a friend, and we can all talk about this Breaking Bad universe that Vince Gilligan created. And come on. But anyway, yeah, that kitchen is nasty, but it just show you. I know Nacho will have a fit. Nacho's character, the way he's so tidy and neat. He's a smart guy, but he's a neat, organized guy too. He's a calculated guy, and I bet you, man, Nacho will have a fit if he see what them dope head girls did to his apartment. I mean, his apartment is not apartment, but his house is a dump. It's a dump, man. They got pizza boxes all around there and everything, and it kind of make you wonder, like, him dealing with letting those kind of girls just lay around his house, does that really go with Nacho's character? But I guess, you know what, Nacho living that kind of life that he lived, he probably don't want to have a square woman like Saul has Kim. He don't want a woman in the square world, because a woman in the square world, I don't know if maybe she will go along with Nacho's life, but then again, Nacho might not want to endanger. He already endangered his father, so he might not want to endanger a woman like that and maybe a family and kids. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, moving forward, we have Mike, my guy, one of my favorite characters on this show, Mike. He comes in with his crew, and he comes and he shows them girls. He's the best thing for them girls right now, believe it or not. Mike is, because Mike comes in and gives those girls a second chance at life. He does, Mike does his thing. He gives them a rundown. He gives them an ultimatum, and I mean, he gives them what Don Corleone would say in The Godfather. He makes them an offer that they can't refuse. Or is it an offer they can't resist? I can't remember. Go watch The Godfather, the greatest movies ever. He'll tell you. But yeah, he goes in and makes them an offer and tells them girls to get out of here, don't come back, and start a new life and say no to drugs. Say no to drugs. And the crew comes in there and they crack open the safe, and they go, and it looks like to me, Mike goes into the safe, and basically, he sees that there's basically money, and there's two ID cards. There's Nacho's card and his father's ID card. And Mike makes a decision right there. He takes Nacho's father's card and he puts Nacho's father's card in his pocket, but he leaves Nacho's ID card. And I think at that moment, that's Mike doing some of his own little personal justice, his little that he likes to do. And he makes a decision. Mike makes a decision to protect the father at that moment. And I think that's a key thing right there we need to take note of, because later on in this episode, Wills is going to come back into play, Nacho's father. And Mike deciding to, I think at that moment, that's when Mike decided that he's going to protect Nacho's father. And I'm going to speculate, maybe later on this season, Mike will say it for himself, but Mike probably saying, hey man, Nacho made a decision in this life. He made a decision. This is the life we decided to live. This is the life we've chose. As what's his name say in Godfather 2. This is the life that we chose. So Mike's father didn't make a decision for this life. Mike's father wanted to be a square guy. So I think that's Mike. That's why not Mike's father, Nacho's father decided to be a square guy. And Mike's father didn't choose this life. So I think, why I keep saying Mike, Nacho's father didn't choose this life. So I think Mike is deciding to protect Nacho's father, and that's why he put the ID in his pocket. We're gonna touch on this again later in the episode. But yeah, Mike puts Nacho's father's ID in his pocket, leaves Nacho's ID in there. He puts them, and they come in, they bring in a brand new safe, and what it looks like to me, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but it looks like to me they brought in the same exact safe, and they did that. They cracked open the old safe and brought in a new safe just so they could plant the evidence that they wanted the crime boss guy to find. I can't think of his name, but later on they want him to. They're going to lead him to come find. When the boss come in there later on, they want some evidence to be in there for him to find, for the boss to find. So it just goes to show you that how Gus, this is classic Gus, how meticulous he is, and how Gus puts a plan in motion, and how far Gus will go to be so detailed in his plan. That was just a great scene. Classic Vince Gilligan, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul scene, where that whole scene, man, it was just great cinema to watch them come in there, remove that safe, put the new safe in there, plant the evidence that they're going to do, and it just was a great scene. We go to America's favorite couple, right? America's favorite con artist scheming couple, right? Kim and Saul. And they're going. Saul's running. It looks like Saul's running some of his old commercial ideas and across Kim, and she's giving her approval and helping him sort out whatever his little con he want to set up with his next con venture. And they also are going over um their next move on how they want to go at taking down old Hal Hamlin, the attorney Hamlin. They trying to figure out what angle they want to come at taking him down. It's just watching those two together, and it's just watching it. You just start to see the surprise. You're kind of almost kind of surprised at how just Kim is kind of like turning into the mastermind behind their cons. You would think it'll be. I mean, Jimmy. Saul, he's just, it's like he's the side guy. She's the mastermind boss, the brains behind the operation. Like, it's just real interesting. It's like she's starting to take the lead in their schemes and plots. We see the scene where Gus is he's being informed and presented with the evidence from the Salamanca ranch in Mexico by his little henchman. I can't remember that black guy name, but Gus is being presented. He's looking over the evidence that the federales have from the crime scene, and Gus, he wants to hear he's combing that evidence with a fine-tooth comb. He's wants to know all the details, and you can just tell, he's asking them about how did the fire start, and you can just tell Gus just has his doubts. He's just not convinced all the way 100% that a psychopath, Lalo the psychopath, was killed at the compound. But nevertheless, he contacts Don. He contacts the Don, and he proceeds with his real precise, calculated plan. And he proceeds and he tells the Don that he has an idea of how to kind of bury the hatchet and move forward with peace with Hector Salamanca. All right, so here we go. So Saul shows up to visit some people he has. Betsy and Greg, I think their name is. He has history with them from previous seasons, and we go to see them. They're not how they were once living. They're living a more humble life. I say it like that. And well, Miss Bessie there, Betty, I think her name is. She's not too happy to see old Saul Goodman there, and her husband. What a pushover! He's real. He fresh out of county jail, and he's so nice and easygoing. We can see who wears the pants in their relationship, and Saul comes there, and we can see that they got them a little low-level slum business there where they cheating old folks out of their tax returns. We don't know that for sure at this point. We don't know that for sure yet, but we can sense the type of people they are, that they are ripping off those old folks. They don't know no better. Anytime you see all that patriotic stuff and flag and all that patriotic stuff going on, it's just to cover up some ripping off that's getting done, that's for sure. And so basically he convinces them, it's a very comedic scene. You gotta love it. Classic Better Call Saul, type of scene, and it's plenty of comedy. But basically what they do is he convinces them to sign these agreements or whatever, and then he explains to them that basically that they're going to try to sue Hamlin for some type of malpractice. And it's basically, at the end of the day, it's just a way that it's just what they're trying to do to come after Hamlin. They just this is just their way of trying to come after Hamlin, and it's just a smear campaign thing that, is that grand scheme to bring down Hamlin. And Basically, the as Miss Betty, as you know, her character would do, she tells him, after she gets the information out of Jimmy, she tells him to go screw himself, and they're gonna go seek another attorney. They're gonna seek representation from someone else. And if you look in the background, you can see that Statue of Liberty. That is the same Statue of Liberty blow up that you will eventually see when Saul Goodman gets his business. He's going to put that right on top of his business, which he got the idea of it being like a hall of justice type of decorations inside the business. So, which he got that from, guess who? Kim, of course, the master. She's turned into the mastermind of scheming. And then back to our friend Nacho there. He's looking to be pretty. He's getting cabin fever there, confined to that little cheap little motel room. And one thing about Nacho, man, he's very smart, man. You gotta give it to him. You really like that about his character, man. He's really smart, man. Like, that's one thing about Nacho, man. He's a smart dude, man. Like, you're not gonna fool like you. Like, he's just smart, man. So he is, somebody brings him. There's somebody bringing him his daily meal, and he's hungry as can be. He grabbed that meal and he scarfed that meal down, didn't he? He didn't even hesitate. He didn't even wash his hands. You know that he didn't wash his hands. He didn't say his prayers or nothing like that. He scarfed that food down. He just scarfed it down like he was doing a mukbang or something, right? And but guess what? After he scarfed that food down a little bit, he peeked outside and noticed some weirdness going on. Something's weird going on, and he has his first suspicion that somebody might be watching him. He got that look in his eye, like it always feel like somebody watching me. You know what I'm saying? All right, so they go to see. We got our one of our favorite couples in crime and in crime and embezzlement. Betty and Greg, they go see Clifford, right? They want to get a big time lawyer, so they go there to see Clifford, and they go telling Clifford that Hamlin, they want to sue Hamlin for representation and all this or whatever they say. Because Hamlin is a cokehead. They talking about he on cocaine, right? For suspicion of cocaine and all these heinous accusations against Hamlin, and they want to be represented. And of course, Clifford, he turns them down, and he's saying, that's my partner. We're partnering up on cases. That's a conflict of interest. He basically just gives them the old lawyer runaround. The old legal eagle runaround, basically. And of course, Miss Betsy, she gets up and she's offended and appalled, and she does her little parade out the office. And of course, Clifford, the old goody two shoes lawyer, which I am adamant that Clifford guy ain't nobody that clean. Them kind of guys, he probably a pedophile or something going on with him. And but anyway, he tells his assistant, his paralegal, he's like, he plays it off with his paralegal. Like, Hamlin, no way he does cocaine. He's clean as a whistle and all this and that. But when his paralegal leaves the room, Clifford has that look in his eye. You could tell in his mind, he flashing back to when he saw that cocaine fall out of Hamlin's locker back at the country club. So you can tell he not telling nobody, but in the back of his mind, he's thinking, oh, hell no, man. This dude is a cocaine head. Hamlin's a cocaine head. We're screwed. I shouldn't be in partnership with this guy. You can tell Clifford's thinking that in the back of his mind. Oh, man, this right here gotta be one of my favorite scenes of the episode, man. And it's just because we know the history between Hector Salamanca, a long, deep rival hatred and history between Hector Salamanca and Gus. Man, like, watching this scene was just so great, man. Like, This is the scene that's supposed to sit down and bury the hatchet and reach a truce and have peace. And it's like Gus sat down and with him, and when they shook hands, when Hector shook hands with him, and that look in Hector's face, that look he gave to Gus knew right then. It's like you could see a little bit of maybe fear in Gus' face and just a little bit of, just like shock in Gus' face. But at the end of the day, Gus knew. The way Hector looked at him, so like arrogant and like so sure of himself, like Hector looked at him at that handshake, and Gus knew that psychopath Lalo is still alive. And just assured and I love the way the scene ended when right before Gus got in his car, he got on the phone and called Mike, and he said, Lalo Salamanca lives. And it just shows you like Gus is just so smart, man. Like Gus is just so smart. Like some people might not would have picked up on that Lalo was still alive, but Gus, he picked up on it. And I mean, this has got to be one of my favorite scenes of the show because it just has so much history in it. There's so much history between the two. If you watch Breaking Bad, you know how Gus dies. You know how Hector dies. And if you watch the show, I mean, you gotta go watch the show to see how Gus dies, how Hector dies. I mean, great scene. I can't say it enough. Okay, so the Don guy, he goes in with his boys. They go into Nacho's place. They ransack the place. They rip it apart. They find the safe. Did they really have to do all that and tear the place up like that? I mean, that safe wasn't that hard to find. It was in the closet. And as you can see, now you see why Mike did those girls a favor. Because come on, man. If they would have found those girls in there, no witnesses. Those girls would have got a bullet to the head. So Mike saved those girls' lives. But as you can see, now we see why Mike and the boys came in there, and they were so meticulous with that safe. They brought a new safe in there, put all the money back in there, and planted. They wanted to plant some evidence so that this is a part of Gus's plan. But this is what it looks like to me. And tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. But this looked like in the plan, this was part of Gus's plan. They go in there, replace the safe, plant the evidence so that they can be able to find Nacho, so that the Don can find Nacho, and so the Don can send his guys after Nacho at the motel. And that was the purpose of this scene. Great, pretty short and to the point. All right, so back to one of the best scenes of the show, if not the best scene of the show, where we got our boy Nacho, man. I think people are probably starting. We kind of rooting for Nacho to make it, ain't we? But like I say, Nacho's smart, man. He's restless in that room. Somebody bring the tray up for him to get something to eat. But something just doesn't sit right. It's like he got a sixth sense. Like something is just telling him something's not right. And he looks out that window, man, and he's like, somebody's inside that shed watching me. And sure enough, he could see out the crack of that shed like somebody moving around in there. So what does Nacho do? He kicks out the back window. I mean, the air conditioner out of the back of that window. Did that air conditioner like it was working? I bet that air conditioner didn't even work. I bet in that room they probably had a ceiling fan in that room, and that room just probably reeked up of a God knows what kind of smell. But I bet that air conditioner didn't even work. He didn't even but he kicked that air conditioner out, jumps out the back window, goes around, and sneaks in the back of that shed where the guy was watching him, pulls a gun out on the guy. And he tells the guy, like, who are you working for? And the guy say he don't know who he working for, which he's probably telling the truth. That guy probably doesn't know who he working for. He's just a poor senor out there just trying to make a couple of pesos doing what somebody asked him to do. And he said that whoever the person was, they told him to just watch him and let them know call the number and let them know if he leaves the hotel. And that's what he's doing. And Nacho realizes that. I don't think Nacho wants to kill the guy. He realized that. So what Nacho does is he has an inkling. Nacho wants to know, who is this guy working for? So Nacho calls Mike, tells Mike that he's leaving the hotel. And sure enough, and hangs up on Mike. And sure enough, the guy that's watching him, his phone rings. And that's how he knows that that guy that was watching him was working for Mike. Now, does he know if the guy that's watching him, if Mike is setting him up? I don't know if Nacho knows that much yet. If Mike and Gus are setting him up to be killed or to be turned over to the Salamancas, I don't know if he knows that much. But he does know that that guy that's watching him is working for Mike. Okay? He's sent there by Mike. Help me out in the comments now. I'm not perfect. Help me out if I'm getting it. Straighten me out. And that's when the Salamanca twins show up, and they crew show up, and they go running in, kicking the hotel door for door looking for Nacho. And Nacho runs. He tries to hotwire a truck, and that's when he gets the standoff with the antisocial twins, right? They don't talk to nobody. And boy, he's standing up and look at them twin boots, man. They got them boots from it look like they bust a Bigfoot leprechaun upside the head and stole them boots. God damn, them boots got some curl on them. Them boots straight from the North Pole, from some elves or something. But anyway, where the hell they get them boots from with them damn curled up toes like that? Where they get them boots from? I know that's probably the cowboy style or whatever, but to tell me where they get them boots from. So Nacho, he floors it and he drives that truck toward the antisocial twins, and they're shooting at each other, and they shoot out the tire, but Nacho still gets past them, and he rams that Suburban out the way, and he probably not gonna get too far with that tire busted like that. But we'll find out, I guess, next episode what happens, how far he gets and everything. But those twins, as usual, they're calm. They're not really running after him. They're real calm, taking their time. And one thing we know, they want him alive. They want Nacho alive. That's why the twins shot one of those guys, because the guy was shooting at Nacho. They didn't want him to kill Nacho. So they ain't mean business. They want that. They want Nacho alive. Evidently, they want to torture him. They not playing. Back to our favorite couple, the con artists, the con swingers. I'll find a good, somebody help me out with a name for those two. But anyway, they're at home getting ready for bed, and Jimmy's trying to pick out his little outfit for the next day. And of course, he receives a call from what sounds like Betsy and Greg, those crazy embezzlers. And not surprising to me, but Kim asked Jimmy, hey, let me tag along with you. Let me go out there with you. So I'm not surprised. She's the mastermind of the schemes now. So they agree to that. And here's a very interesting scene with Gus, Mike, and the black guy with the funny expressions. They're back, and Gus is being briefed on everything about they're looking for Nacho. He got away in the truck, but they found the truck and they're looking for Nacho. Lalo is nowhere to be found. They got a sniper outside. They're on high alert, and Gus is unusual. Is not like Gus. He's usually calm and collected and have everything planned out, but Gus is on edge. In this scene, Gus knocks over a glass and breaks it. We don't usually see this out of Gus, but yeah, he knocks a glass over. He's so out of it. And Mike, he tries to make a suggestion, which I think is a good suggestion, that hey, let me go out there. Once again, he's like, let me go out there and get Nacho. Let me get the kid. Let me go get Nacho. But then Gus, he asks for them to bring in Nacho's father. And that's where the line in the sand is drawn. And Mike, he's a good worker. But Mike, he's an ex-cop, he has his morals, he has his ethics. And there's some lines that Mike just won't cross, and he don't care who's asking him to do it. He's just not going to do it. Mike is stubborn like that. And he's like, no, you're not going to do that, Gus. He stands up to Gus and he's like, no, you're not bringing in Nacho's father. That's what you're not going to do. And Gus guy, the little black guy with the expressions, he don't never say nothing really. He pulled that pistol out and he's like, you just tell me when, boy. It's almost if I don't know what he got. Help me out in the comments. Like, what does the little black guy with the pistol, what does he have against Mike? It's like he got a little bug in his butt, in his ass against Mike or something. Like he itching to shoot Mike. And but Mike receives a phone call, and Mike says it's Nacho. That's what Mike says it is. It's Nacho. And he claims Nacho wants to speak to, he says some things that we don't know what Nacho is saying, and he says Nacho wants to speak to Gus. And that's where we leave off with that scene. We're going to have to wait to the next episode and figure out what's going on with that. And here we are, back to our couple of justice. I guess that's what we can call them. The couple that's all about justice and conning people the American way, right? Conning their way to justice. And there they are. They're there to see Betty and Greg, the embezzlement, where they operate their little tax company called Embezzlement and Associates. And Embezzlement Incorporated, I don't know. But they meet up, and it's interesting. They go in there to try to talk, and Jimmy goes in there, and Kim just goes in, and she's real quiet. Right? She's just real quiet, and she just sits in there and lets Jimmy do the talking, and she's real quiet, and she kind of just walks around their little trailer and just doesn't say nothing. But when Kim is quiet, but when Betsy started talking about what they've lost, how they've lost everything, and going on about their lives, Kim had enough. She had enough. I think Kim had to show him something, and that's when Kim pulls that phone out and she calls the IRS and she calls the authorities on them, and she exposes them on how they've been ripping off people for their taxes and how that's a crime, and she threatens to go and call the authorities on Betsy and Greg. And she just had to make her little point, and Kim had to let them know that no, Betsy, you haven't lost everything. You're a long way from losing everything. So shut up. Give those people their money back, and shut up and stay in your place and stay out of our way. And during this whole time, if you notice Jimmy, Saul, he had his head down, and you can tell Saul wasn't comfortable with what Kim was doing, because even though Saul like getting over on people, he isn't all the way that Saul Goodman that we know on Breaking Bad. He hadn't crossed all the way over. He's at the finish line. He's about to, but he ain't that Saul Goodman that really goes for the jugular like in Breaking Bad. And you can tell he felt like Kim just went a little too far. And you can tell that Saul, he did kind of he had some empathy for Betsy and Greg. And that's why when Saul came outside, Kim was like, you gave him the money, didn't you? She was like, you pussy. You gave him the money, didn't it? That was her tone, like, you pussy. Like, and as you can see, Kim is, yeah, she's on another level with, I get, in her mind, I guess Kim feels like, hey, to get justice in this world, you gotta cut some throats. You gotta step on, you gotta, and I guess like Kim doesn't care whatever it takes to help out the little people. I guess in her mind, if she's doing some unethical things and stepping on some people's throats and doing some low down dirty stuff, as long as I'm helping out the little person, because in her mind she felt like the real victims were those old people that were getting ripped off for their tax returns. And at the very end of the episode, when Kim and Saul are pulling off from the tax fraud office, there's a box Chevy that's watching them. Somebody in a box Chevy pulls behind them, a Caprice box Chevy, and pulls up behind them like they're following them. The question is, who is that? Tell me in the comments who you might think that is. I'm gonna tell you who I think that is. I think that is psychopath Lalo Salamanca. That's what I think. I think it's a psycho. Let me tell you something. If I'm not mistaken, I think the setting of this show at this time period is around 2006. Okay, let me tell you something. Whoever riding in a box Chevy Caprice in 2006, in just a regular plain box Chevy, that's a psychopath right there. That's psychopath Tennyson. They crazy, okay? I can tell you that right now. I can tell you that much. That is somebody crazy. And who else would be crazy enough to be riding around in Albuquerque, New Mexico in the desert in a goddamn box Chevy other than psychopath Lalo Salamanca? It gotta be one of them Salamanca. The one Salamanca, he got his own permanent wheels and the wheelchair and a bed that he wringing the hell out of. He wearing the hell out of some nurse in the damn nursing home. You got two other Salamancos. They riding around with elf boots with with curled up toe boots in Mexico chasing down Nacho. So all them too busy right now. So who's the Salamanca left, folks? Who's the Salamanca left to be riding around in a box Chevy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, following around Saul and Kim? Lalo crazy ass. So that's who that is. I bet you that's Lalo crazy ass. The only other person I think it might could be that quiet black dude that worked for Gus. It might could be him, but I doubt it, man. I doubt it. It's probably Lalo crazy ass. Well, look. For Saul and Kim's sake, we better hope that it's Gus, one of Gus' henchmen, following them in that box Chevy, and not Lalo. But if it's Lalo, that first encounter, if you think that was crazy in season 5 with Kim, that first encounter, that showdown they had at Kim's apartment, just wait and see to this next meeting. I hope it ain't Lalo for their sake. So, I guess, man, and that's the episode, That's the end of the episode. So going into predictions, and I don't know exact. I mean, I'm not even going to say in detail exactly. I know what's going to happen. I know this much. Kim and Saul, it's not going to end good for them. And it's their relationship is. I mean, it's not going to end well. I think we know that much now. What exactly is going to happen, I don't know. I mean, is Kim going to push too hard? I don't know. But is Kim the way she's pushing and the way she's going, I think something's going to happen, man, to where, man, Kim might end up in jail or something. Something crazy is going to happen, man. And as far as Nacho, I'm gonna tell you, man, Nacho might make it out alive, man. Whatever happens, but he's gonna go through some hell next, though. I think I saw in the next week's previews for episode 3, Nacho gonna be tied up. So I hope them twins don't catch him, man. If them twins catch him, boy, they gonna torture him. So But at the end, I think Nacho's going to maybe end. I think he's, at least I hope he gets out alive. We rooting for Nacho. I think he might make it out alive, man. You know, hopefully so. And Gus and Mike, we're gonna see where this is gonna go. I couldn't tell you, man. I'm not smart enough to know where the writers are gonna go. I just want to sit back and just enjoy the ride, man. That's all I want to do, man. Guys, do me a favor, man. Make sure you subscribe to Air Joystick. That's my gaming channel there, Air Joystick. I really appreciate it. Subscribe to Air Joystick. Turn the post notifications on. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to Cousin Corey. Okay? Subscribe to this channel, Cousin Corey, man. You want to make sure you do that. And I tell you, I appreciate you riders. I appreciate you guys liking. I appreciate you guys watching. Don't think I don't know that you're doing that. I appreciate that. Share this with a friend. Comment. Talk to me. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm right. Like the video. Subscribe if you don't like the video. Tell me how you don't like the video. Say that in the comments. I appreciate all of that. You want to be negative? Go ahead. Be negative in the comments. You want to be positive? Go ahead. Be positive in the comments. Either way, get in them comments and tell me how you feel. And as always, I appreciate you. I love you guys that support me. And all the people that want to be negative, and don't support me, I appreciate you guys too. Until next time, my friends.